Hello, it's Kay from KCM, and welcome to another Sunday we're not drinking alcohol type of discussion. I recently did a video. I don't remember if it was on a Sunday, but let's just say it was for consistency. It's Sunday today when I'm recording this, and that would make it trend. Anyway, so I recently recorded a video talking about espresso, and I kind of highlighted that I'm not much of a coffee drinker, but when I do, I drink espresso, and I wanted to compare the AK-47 espresso blend from Black Rifle Coffee to pre-ground Illy Italian 100% Arabica ground coffee. So, espresso, right? So, I thought, why stop there? Why not just continue the trend and look at another brand? We happen to be stuck at home, so we're drinking quite a lot more espresso than we typically do, and we're running out of ground. So we have the opportunity to either buy more of what we've tried or kind of learn more about what's out there. So that's what we did, and I'm going to try and do a video on this regularly to talk about it because I want to kind of diversify from just doing alcohol. Also helps me produce content while still being able to moderate drinking. So this is what we're going to talk about today. I don't know if there you go. This is Typhoon Espresso blend. Yes, dark roast blend from Higher Grounds Coffee. There's actually several Higher Grounds Coffee, so apparently that's a popular name. This is the one in Traverse City, Michigan. If you're in the Michigan area, you might have seen some of this brand pop up. We've seen it in a variety of places. Our local grocery stores, Costco's been carrying larger bags of it, things like that. Most of them are medium roast type stuff. This is a dark roast, obviously. On the bag, it says that it's trying to replicate that Italian espresso style, which, as you guys might have picked up based on the last video, I'm fairly preferential to. This gives us a chance to try another style of espresso, and I'm going to make it just like I make all of my espresso, which is I've just ground it just now, and so we're going to throw that into our espresso machine. I've put it in my portafilter here, nicely packed, not too hard, but still a good, decent, fine grind with a good packing. So we'll get that going. The espresso machine is a little noisy, so I might pick up the phone so it's not like right in the speaker without. Oh, we'll go that way, right? So. There we go. There's our incredibly clean kitchen setup. So we're going to pour, what do we do? Let's see if we can get in there. There we go. So we're going to make our little espresso blend right now. There she goes. Okay. Seen enough of that. So anyway, what I wanted to try and do was see if we could compare this to the last two. I'm not going to do a side-by-side like I did in the last video talking about it, but I did want to just kind of do a little bit of okay, what are we getting for our money? And again, when you look at some of these things, this bag that we bought recently was 12, I still have the price on there, I think. Nope, I took it off. It was about $12.90, and then when you add tax and et cetera, then okay, so now in the $14 range. That'll be comparable to the other brands in terms of what you're going to pay out the door. Again, with this Black Rifle Coffee thing, which, again, you're not just buying something, you're supporting a cause that you believe in. Hopefully you believe in, because I think that's a fairly, maybe you don't agree with certain politics, but, the people behind what we're supporting, hopefully we're all behind those people. Anyway, so I always put a smidge of sugar in my espressos just to kind of balance it out. I'm not ultra hardcore when it comes to this stuff, and so I'm going to do that. Sorry for any purists out there who are very strict about their coffee or espresso. Yeah, so as I was saying with Black Rifle Coffee, there is a, it's a veteran-owned business, and you're supporting the troops, etc., etc. And there's by no means a desire to downplay that. I think that's a good cause. I think anything supporting anybody who has a difficult job is a good cause. So, and that's a difficult job. So, however, I tend to want to look at things objectively, because it's easy to sell something on the basis of that'll go on. It's easy to sell something on the basis of altruism or the noble, fight for the people type stuff. And right now, again, when we think about the COVID-19 crisis, and when we look at the people on the front lines fighting that, we all want to support them. I think the empathetic, sociopath thing to do is to want to support people on the front lines. But we're still consumers. And the only way that we can drive companies to improve is to challenge them, even if their cause is good. So with that said, I don't know. I mean, Higher Grounds, I don't know anything about the company. They're in Traverse City, as I think I've already said. And so again, they tout being organic and fair trade, and so there's some good stuff there. Sometimes you want your espresso to cool down a little bit. You don't want it to be too super hot when you drink it. I think it's not atypical to let an espresso sit for a little bit before you start sipping on it. But espresso doesn't get too hot anyway. So just first impressions off this. And the other thing I should say is that when it cools down a little, I think it does change your flavor profile. And again, we could be talking about whiskey, we could be talking about wine, we could be talking about beers, or your filet mignon, right? But at the end of the day, even if you don't categorize something in very specific terms, that doesn't mean you're not experiencing it. So while sometimes it might seem trivial or silly or dorky to sit there and try and deconstruct something like coffee, the exercise doesn't get less intellectually stimulating because it's not Scotch whiskey. You're still trying to verbalize what your nose and your mouth are experiencing and sending up to your brain. And I think there is value in doing that no matter what, especially if you enjoy the finer things in life. It could be art or music or whatever. I mean, all those things are forms of expression. Food and drink can be forms of expression and do the same thing. So it doesn't tell you a whole lot about the actual source of the beans. Yeah. So Higher Grounds does have some single location, single source stuff, and then they have some blends. This is a blend. It's not prescriptive, I don't think. I'm trying to look at all the angles in terms of where it's from. It doesn't say. So when I think about what I'm tasting here, I go back to some of the other ones. That sharp acidity that I was getting out of that Arabica illy coffee. Again, that's not as prevalent here. This one is a little earthier. It is a dark roast, so illy has a regular roast and then a dark roast, and so we were talking about the regular roast before. As far as how this compares to the Black Rifle stuff, it's, I would say, reasonably comparable. And that's interesting because the Black Rifle coffee, one of the things that they advertises, hey, we roast this right after you order it, not before, which is cool. I mean, that gives you a guarantee of freshness and all that. But when you're looking at how long is the time frame between when you notice that knot, and honestly, is the immediate roast what you want? Do you want it to settle a little bit? Things like that. I found that the Black Rifle coffee was actually getting better after a little bit of time, you know, and what I mean by that is that we had the bags we bought 2 bags and we had them for 3 weeks and then ran out. And I noticed that the flavor profiles were kind of changing. So I find with dark roast you have a lot of more like chocolatey flavors. They say in here that there's citrus and berry nuances that come through auto drip or Chemex. I don't even know what that is. The bean's deepest flavors are displayed in espresso. So I would say yes, deep flavors, dark, chocolatey. I can see the implication of like a berry or something, because there is a kind of a roundness there, almost an aftertaste of fruitiness, but it's very, very subtle. It could be one of those things where your brain is stimulated by the idea and kind of sends that flavor to your tongue and says, hey, you're tasting that. So well, maybe not. The citrus piece I haven't gotten yet. It's not nearly as acidic as the illy. There is another... Yeah, actually there is like kind of a vanilla flavor in there too. Interesting. There is another espresso blend that they do. It's called something else, so we might try that next. And but we do have 2 more bags that I'd like to kind of look through from different brands. So this is really the one I should be talking about. This is Water Street Coffee, and this is Midnight Oil. This is their dark roast, or one of their dark roasts. And so I'll do a review of this probably next week or something on Sunday, and talk about that a little bit. And then we have Ron's Beans Ethiopian Yirgacheffe. That's also dark. These are both in Southwest Michigan. So whereas Traverse City is a little off the beaten trail, but oh well, still Michigan, right? Still supporting local business. Okay, that is kind of some talking points on espresso. And again, my level of knowledge when it comes to espresso and things like that isn't very good. If people take an interest in this and want to learn more, though, and are, want to see different brewing methods or whatever, I mean, supply and demand, right? If people want to see it, and then I'll learn about it. I'll start doing some research and kind of understanding what's out there. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. And as far as would I recommend it? Yeah, it brews well. It actually is a nice, well-rounded tasting espresso. I don't know how it would taste as auto drip or French press or you name it, regular brew, pot brew, whatever you call it. I don't know. Dirty, kitchen coffee probably tastes good, but espresso, it's the way to go. I'm purist. All right, thanks for tuning in, and next video hopefully will be a video on whiskey, because that's what we do, I think. Still, yeah. All right, ciao.